A massive hole opens up in Antarctica, the size of Lake Superior or the state of Maine. This thing is huge. This hasn't happened in over 40 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Bear Leak Project, how the heck are you? This podcast is brought to you by Virtual Shield, the ultimate VPN designed from the ground up to protect your data and privacy from big data spies. Right now, there is a 50% off special, less than $5 a month. Check it out, virtualshield.com/leakproject. That's my shameless plug. Now, I want to share with you an article that I put together at forums.leakproject.com, and I've got a multitude of links and information and cliff notes where there's my analysis combined with people that are a lot smarter than myself and scientists and geologists. What's interesting is this enormous hole that was discovered. It's in the Wattle Sea. Let me show you real quick the area. You can see this is a picture of this massive hole. And they say it hasn't happened in 40 years. soccom.princeton.edu. The link will be in the video description box once again. Here is another image of the area. Here is another image. You can see the location and the size. Now, right here is a map showing an area. If you look to the left, to the west, that's where they have recently discovered 91 different volcanoes, or at least they're finally telling us about it. The data, 91 different volcanoes, and they're trying to figure out why Antarctica is heating up so quick and why the ice is melting. So what are they doing? They're spraying the atmosphere with chemical trails. They're geoengineering the planet. They're terraforming the planet. They're destroying the ozone, attempting to keep the Earth cool. Well, it's not going to matter when you've got volcanoes erupting underneath. So this kind of puts into perspective the Ross Ice Shelf, the west ice sheets, is where they've discovered the majority of these volcanoes with scientific data that's been compiled with satellite imagery. It's quite fascinating. This right here is just showing the areas of the Larsen Ice Shelf that's been slowly breaking off now for years. There's volcanoes underneath there that's melting this, you guys. So I don't understand why. I mean, here you can read about it as well. Science Daily. World's largest volcanic range may lurk beneath Antarctic ice. Just came out in August. University of Edinburgh. I'll leave the link for that as well. Here's another picture just kind of put into perspective. You've got a volcano underneath the ocean erupting. Now, 91 new volcanoes discovered. You look to the right, you're going to see someone did I guess you could say, a real simple map showing the areas where they've discovered many of these volcanoes. And then if you look to the left, you're going to see data showing the warmer regions of Antarctica. And they're like, oh, we just discovered it. We just found out about it. Now, Mount Agung recently erupted. Over 100,000 people are evacuating. I don't know what the caldera is like underneath there, how that compares to Yellowstone. There was 1,000 quakes the day that this thing erupted. Let's look at what's going on in Yellowstone right now. There's a lot going on indeed. So I want to go back to this article. I don't even have it on here. Okay. Let me read this to you real quick, you guys. Researchers from the University of Edinburgh analyzed data of the underside of the ice sheet for hidden peaks of basalt rock similar to those of other volcanoes in the region. Using ice-penetrating radar and geological information, satellite data, and imagery, scientists discovered 91 previously unknown volcanoes. According to the article, the data does not show if the volcanoes are active. Now, personally, I think that's ridiculous. There's plenty of information available to show that there are active volcanoes under the ice, because just look at the overwhelming evidence and the areas that are melting. The ice sheets that are melting is going, okay, there's 200 feet worth of water stored in these glaciers and ice sheets in Antarctica. It's like a plug. People say, I've got a glass of water and I've got ice in there and it doesn't overflow. Well, imagine if you've got ice that's above the water line, that's above the glass line, that's frozen. So you've still got water in there because you've got this frozen ice that goes above it. Once that ice melts, it will overflow the glass. So do the same thing in a bowl. Now, if you believe the earth is flat, do it on a flat surface. That's fine, whatever. A tetrahedron, a octagon, a highly concentrated triangle within a triangle, within a triangle, within a triangle, within a triangle, within a triangle. Okay, so another thing I want to point out is how resilient life was in Antarctica 250 million years ago. They've discovered that these trees and these plants were able to grow across this megacontinent that's now 5 continents. Gondwana. Some people call it Pangea. It could activate itself to where it could turn on and off. So if it was going to have a long period of time of no sun or very little sunlight, nurturing, it would just shut itself off. Then it would turn itself back on when it needed to. And then 250 million years ago, approximately, boom, continents blow up. What happened? What caused all these volcanoes to erupt and these mass shifts of a megacontinent now being a multitude of continents? What happened? And also, you should check out this really cool archive, SMH, archives.smedia.com.au. It is the Sydney Herald. I went back and looked up from like 1950 to 1970 some of the headlines. If you just do a quick search, and you can get access to all this stuff for pretty cheap, like $25 for a week. You get access to all these archives and information. It's really a pretty good deal. You should check it out on their website. But a publication from Sydney Morning Herald titled Civilization Discovered in Antarctica from March 3rd, 1962. Somebody sent me a link and a file that showed the headline and showed the front page of the paper. I appreciate the person that sent me this. It's a Leak Project subscriber. Thank you very much. So then that's when I went into the website and I typed in from 50 to 70 to see what else came up. And over 115 articles came up when you type in Antarctica. So here's a few that I wanted to share with you because I thought these were quite interesting. This one's from 1958. Antarctica springboard to space. Antarctica springboard to space. Murney in Antarctica, 2,200 miles south of Western Australia. Russian scientists launched at least 30 rockets into the upper atmosphere. Antarctic expedition, November 26, 1963. Russian scientists travel about 1,900 miles into Antarctica. Air tours to Antarctic, September 9th, 1963. The first commercial proving flight has already been made to Antarctica, and it's only a matter of time before the start of regular civil air routes across the South Pole regions. Disputes in Antarctica, August 16, 1962. Conference at the University of Western Australia on the problems of selecting men for Antarctica. Got into how many people had drinking problems, so they were afraid to bring him into a crew to work out there because of the conditions. Also, this one's interesting. This is an interesting headline. Air maps of Antarctica, September 7th, 1962. Flying in Antarctica has proven extremely difficult because of the extreme cold. My name's Captain Obvious. How the heck are you? Hello! Here's an interesting one. Did you know that in 1962, there was an article that came out about the U.S. and its nuclear power plant that it built in Antarctica? There's a nuclear treaty out there. You can't even poop out there without collecting your poop. I mean, it's like, okay, time to pick it up and put it in the plastic bag, and we're going to send it off, son. We're going to find out what you're doing. Anyway, so I'm just saying that because they're extremely strict out there on, no footprint, leave no footprint behind, and anything else for that matter, like fecal matter. But they were able to build a nuclear reactor and then send it out there. and it had all sorts of problems. And that was in 1962, that article. The air maps, the nuclear power station. Now, this is an article that came out in 1956, October 13th. Maybe it was Friday the 13th. The Earth is moving again towards an ice age. The Earth is moving again towards an ice age. Once again, the Earth is moving toward an ice age, according to American scientists, when massive glaciers grind slowly towards the equator, carrying cities and civilizations before them. And then there was a signing of 12 nations in Antarctica, the treaty, December 1st, 1959, the article, held at the time to be the first encouraging result of an era of negotiation which appeared to have begun with meetings between Mr. Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, and Mr. Khrushchev at Camp David. Now, I took notes, so if you see me looking to the left, somebody made the other comment the other day, hey, man, what's wrong with your eyes? I don't know, man. I'm trying to read, but I'm having a tough time. Okay, cut me some slack, man. All right, it's because the notes that I took. Now, you can read this and add to it at forums.com or forums.leakproject.com. Make sure to do so. And then, this is an interesting article. A new look at history, at the history of the human race, December 21st, 1963, from a series of partial or whole skulls, nanu, molars, incisors, mandibles, whatever that is, thigh bones, and other remains scattered over some 300 sites on every continent except Antarctica. He has endeavored to reconstruct the history of the human genesis. Once again, this is available smharchives.smedia.com.au. I'll leave the link in the video description box. Also, check out the article that I put together at forums.leakproject.com. And don't forget to go to virtualshield.com/leakproject. All right, that's my shameless plug. A massive hole opens up in Antarctica the size of Lake Superior or the state of Maine. This thing is huge. This hasn't happened in over 40 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Bear Leak Project, how the heck are you? This podcast is brought to you by Virtual Shield, the ultimate VPN designed from the ground up to protect your data and privacy from big data spies. Right now, there is a 50% off special. What's interesting is this enormous hole that was discovered. It's in the Wattle Sea. Let me show you real quick the area. You can see this is a picture of this massive hole. And they say it hasn't happened in 40 years. soccom.princeton.edu. The link will be in the video description. They have recently discovered 91 different volcanoes, or at least they're finally telling us about it. The data, 91 different volcanoes, and they're trying to figure out why Antarctica is heating up so quick and why the ice is melting. So what are they doing? They're spraying the atmosphere with chemical trails. They're geoengineering the planet. They're terraforming the planet. They're destroying the ozone, attempting to keep less than $5 a month. Check it out, virtualshield.com/leakproject. That's my shameless plug. Now, I want to share with you an article that I put together at forums.leakproject.com. And I've got a multitude of links and information and cliff notes where there's my analysis combined with people that are a lot smarter than myself and scientists and geologists. Description box. Once again, here is another image of the area. Here is another image. You can see the location and the size. Now, right here is a map showing an area. If you look to the left, to the west, that's where a recent